The mother and daughter, who were still terrified, were comforting each other. Suddenly, the whole house lost power. The wife, who thought of something, looked out the window. She saw that her husband had changed beyond recognition. At this moment, the wife was very clear that her husband was no longer the same, because she saw unfamiliarity in his eyes. As Blake's figure disappeared, the wife quickly protected her daughter and became alert. Soon, she heard the sound of footsteps upstairs. She subconsciously picked up the knife on the ground. Then she cautiously came to the stairway to observe. Looking at the slowly approaching husband, the wife had to wave the knife in her hand, but Blake was not afraid of the knife. Taking advantage of her husband's pain, the wife hurriedly dragged her daughter out. There was a barn not far from the house. It was too dark to see anything clearly. Fortunately, there was a flashlight on a shelf, and luckily found a. Such a situation made the wife have a plan instantly. She first hid with her daughter in a corner, and waited for her husband to fall into the trap. Soon, Black smelled the scent and came over. He hit the door for a long time but couldn't break it, and then dug a deep hole downwards. A moment later, the surroundings suddenly became very quiet. The wife, who couldn't see the situation clearly, had to stay still. However, at this moment, in Blake's eyes, the wife and daughter's actions were clearly seen. The entire barn was brighter than the sun shining on it. But just as he was about to move forward, he stepped on the trap that had been set, and the solid chain trapped him tightly. Without hesitation, the wife pulled her daughter again and escaped. Seeing that his prey had run away, helpless, Black began to go crazy. Finally, he had to bend down and start biting his feet. A few minutes later, Black crawled out with his bloody broken leg. Then she used her hands and feet and chased in the direction of the prey. At the same time, the wife was running hard, and soon she heard her husband's roar. As the distance between them got closer, she realized that this was not the way to go, so she turned around and came to the place of the car accident. After searching here, she found the hunting gun of Blake's childhood friend. Without any hesitation, the mother and daughter took the weapons and continued on. Finally, before dawn, they found a shelter. But just as they climbed up to hide, and Black with a broken leg also chased after them, a strong sense of terror made them shudder. The nervous wife had to raise her shotgun. At this time, her husband slowly appeared in sight. He stared at the mother and daughter, but he never launched an attack. Obviously, Blake still has a trace of humanity, but this trace of humanity is about to disappear. Seeing that his wife was reluctant to shoot, Black immediately made a crazy move. Black was finally free, and completely said goodbye to this world. At the end of the story, the wife took her daughter and left the farm. When passing by a scenic spot, they were like being sucked in, and were forced to stop. Perhaps this is the cycle of life, because when he was 8, Black also looked here. This is the end of the film.